Tonight on Colonial Sports Center, this show is all about using your head, from stopping a volleyball with your face to moving on to the soccer field and soaring above the defense and flicking a soccer ball on net, to using your vision for another scoring chance. Yes, the noggin comes into play, so turn your head, keep your eyes on the ball, your hands out front. Grab some milk because Colonial Sports Center starts right now. And salutations. Welcome to Colonial Sports Center. I'm Andrew Chiapese. She is homecoming queen nominee Kelly Burke.
I think Mango and I have the easiest way to get votes. We just have to appear right here on CSC.
And let it be known, I don't share the Colonial Sports Center anchor desk with Kelly Burke tonight. Kelly Burke is permitting me to read sports stories and do highlights in her presence. Robert Morris ended last season with the #1 defense in all of FCS football. And with a revamped defensive line and the loss of a young up-and-coming corner in Jackie Candy, it would have been perfectly acceptable to see a decline from last year's lofty ranking, at least to anyone but the defense. 4 games into the 2007 season, the Colonials are back in the top 15 in FCS in defense. They face #4D on Saturday to Moorhead, Kentucky. We go. First half, second quarter, no score. Colonials find a little offense. Eric Swilinski, a deep bomb to Mario Hines, the acrobatic catch at the end. RMU down to the 2-yard line. 2 plays later, though, Swilinski looking for Ryan Listrup coming out of the backfield, but Josh Harris follows him the whole way, picks it off, and yeah, he's running like people are chasing him. 6-0 Moorhead after the touchdown. Well, you know, if we're going to show you the extra point here, it must be important. Yeah, it hits the post. Might have been tipped there. This does come into play later on. Moorhead State trying to add on. Brian Yost to Nick Feldman, 55 yards. Nice little spin move at the end. And finally, he's going to be hauled down after a long chase by a streaking Tohi Bakinola. Nearly strips it, and Colonials would get the turnover. 3 plays later, though, Yost is picked off by James Kazel. Kazel injures his collarbone on the play, though. Colonials would get the ball back on the 9-yard line, but Andrew Doan sacks Swilinski at the 1-yard line. Colonials with their backs into the end zone. 2 plays later, Wes McDermott tackles Raphael Johnson for a safety. 8-0 Eagles at the half. Second half, more defense. Brian Yost tries the sideline, but the not so overrated Mike Nicholas picks this one off, his second straight, and still more defense here. After a blocked field goal, Richard Nagy comes in and sacks Yost, forces a fumble, bounces around a little while, and finally gets pounced on by Mark Szymanski, who had another strong game for the Colonials defense. And that's going to lead to a Michael Walzer chip shot field goal. It is 8-3 Moorhead State. Fourth quarter, Eagles trying to add on, but there's that guy Nicholas again. Mason Webb's field goal is blocked. Still 8-3 Moorhead. Last minute of play, an exchange of series, a last gasp by RMU. Colonial, Swilinski to Alvin Hill, and the truth shall set you free. To the 2-yard line, under 20 seconds left to go, and that's going to set up from 2 yards out, a Kerry Murray plunge. The 2-point conversion would fail. It's 9-8 RMU. 20 seconds left. Eagles with their last chance. The ensuing kickoff, Dante Gibson returns it, but John Jackson jacks him up. Ryan Smith recovers the fumble, and the Colonials hold on for a squeaker of a victory. There is joy in Mudville tonight. RMU wins 9-8. 7 road wins in a row for RMU so far. Colonials last were 3-1 in 2004. We caught up with Eric Swilinski and James Kazel earlier this week.
Well, first 3.5 quarters, we couldn't move the ball. I mean, I couldn't really get a lot of time throwing. We couldn't do anything offensively running at all. And I talked to the linemen on the sideline. They were busting their butt. And fourth quarter, we came out, and I told them we had a minute and a half left on the field. And with that minute and a half, they started blocking. They got me time to throw the ball. I completed passes. That's what we had to do.
You know, we have faith in our offense. You know, just defense goes out there every week looking to play its game. and you know, we'll let the offense worry about the offense. Defense just has to do its job, and you know, we played a good game and ended up winning for us. So.
Other teams were in action this week. Here's a look at how some of them fared. Central Connecticut State lost to West Michigan 51-14. Wagner did not play this week, and Monmouth lost to Stony Brook by 6 points. Here's a look at the standings in the NEC. Robert Morris is 2-0 and 3-1 overall, followed by Wagner and Central Connecticut State, and St. Francis and Monmouth are both at 0-1 in the conference.
More NEC awards are on their way to Moon Township. The Offensive Player of the Week went to wide receiver Alvin Hill, and Rookie of the Week to punter Nick Schertzinger. Hill hauled in 7 passes for 164 yards, including that crucial 45-yard bomb to the 2-yard line in the final drive, the yardage which the 5th highest in RMU single-game history. And out of his 5 punts on Saturday, Schertzinger's most impressive was the 69-yard howitzer he unleashed in the second quarter. It is the longest punt in the NEC this year. Schertzinger's 41.9 yards per punt average is second in the league. For more on the win, here's Matt Davies.
Safety James Kazel. It looks like the 2007 season has come to an abrupt end, thanks to a bone-crushing hit against Morehead State.
Broken clavicle. It's actually broken 2 spots. It's in 3 pieces right now. I've got a surgery scheduled for Friday, and you know, it looks like season for me is done.
Kazel leaves a big void to fill on defense as he registered 19 tackles in just 4 games. Kazel plans to come back and rejoin the Colonials next season if the NCAA coincides that he can play. But as for shutdown corner Mike Niklos, his season has begun strong, and he hopes to end it that way.
It's a lot of film. We get a lot of film work, kind of get a good game plan going on. Excuse me. And also, we've been working a lot with stripping the ball, so we've been getting a lot of fumbles. Usually on Thursdays before our 98-yard drive, we'll go to a whole lot of stripping drills.
Kazel and Miklas suit a squad that ranks 2nd in the nation on defense. With the Colonial football team, I'm Matt Davies, Colonial Sports Center.
From football to football, we're kicking it old style as Colonial Sports Center rolls on.
Hi, I'm John Tucci, and it's always good to see all of you during campus, and you're watching Colonial Sports Center.
Many thanks to the one and only John Tucci.
The Pirates need to bring him back for another national anthem at PNC Park, or maybe he'll show up and help Sidney Crosby and the Penguins at the Mellon Arena.
Maybe, just maybe, a Tucci sighting down the road. Meanwhile, for the Penguins, Angelo Esposito won't be skating down the path paved by Sidney Crosby and Jordan Stahl. The highly touted prospect was returned to his junior league team after spending much of training camp with the Penguins. While Stahl and Crosby made the Penguins right out of juniors, Esposito will have a chance to lead the Quebec Ramparts of the QMJHL this year.
The Pittsburgh Pirates announced Tuesday that Neil Huntington will be the new general manager. Huntington has spent the last 10 seasons in various jobs with the Cleveland Indians, including being their advanced scout and director of player development. Huntington is replacing Dave Littlefield, who was dismissed on September 7th. After losing today to the Diamondbacks, the Pirates are in their final weekend of the season as the St. Louis Cardinals come to town tomorrow for a 3-game series.
The Steelers' manhandling of the San Francisco 49ers on Saturday may have come at a steep price. Wide receiver Hines Ward is doubtful for this Sunday's game versus Arizona with a knee sprain. With the overhyped Grimm and Wisenhunt versus Tomlin battle, the much more important subplot will be how the Steelers deal with a major hit to their passing game. Then again, it is the Cardinals. Frank Gore had a rough game, and Alex Smith was even worse as you take a look at some of the stats from Sunday's game versus the 49ers. Alex Smith just 17 of 35 for 209 yards plus a big interception. The Steelers were able to help corral Frank Gore for 14 attempts and 39 yards. Meanwhile, Willie Parker had his 4th consecutive 100-yard rushing game. Coming off a 10-0 stomping of Howard last Tuesday, the Lady Colonials were in action Friday against Ohio. Needless to say, there were far fewer points scored to the North Athletic Complex for women's soccer. Lady Colonial is hosting Ohio University. Second half, no score. Courtney Mink looking for Amy Lauer, but finding only heartbreak. Who put that post there? Ohio would eventually turn around and threaten. Deneen Stevenato unleashes Taryn Reichert, who just toys with the ball until finally Emily Schott comes over and helps kick it away. Another chance later on for Ohio and Stevenato. Eventually going to get around the D, but can't keep her footing. Shot goes wide. We are still tied at 0. Stevenato gets another chance with the free kick, but Erica Schmidt becomes a kamikaze and rejects a shot, and Colonials turn it back the other way. One last chance to score, but Rachel Golding's shot is lacking some French mustard. Colonials and Ohio, they play to a 0-0 tie at the North Athletic Complex.
It was a difficult game. Scrappy. It was not a nice game. It was an attractive game. Both teams were most satisfied to play a defensively oriented game. We created a couple of good chances, but they didn't go in for us, and there was really lack of flow to the game. So the only thing that we can really do is improve on our play, how we're gonna play, and kind of put this game into the books. When you go into that.
To men's soccer, scoreless heading into the second half. Senior midfielder Dwayne Chin comes up with a scoring chance, and the Big Bad Wolf says, "Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin." John Morlacco finds Jacek Prenovic, who sets him up for the shot. He is unable to finish as he gets all post. Bobcats' Mark Farrell looks on to Nick Benavides in front of the net, but goalkeeper Matt Felice continues his shutout. Ryan Zabinski uses the head of his teammate, Martin Oye, who is unable to come up with the play. This time, Zabinski decides, I'll just take it myself. And that he does. He goes to the goal strong, a little too strong, and we go still scoreless. Regulation winds down as the game gets a little more physical. Colonial's Prenovic tries everything he can, but he still comes up short. One last chance for the Bobcats, but the Colonial defense holds on. This will send the game into overtime. The Bobcats' Farrell comes up with the deflection off Tyler Solis, shoots it, but he comes up wide of the net. After battling through 2 overtimes, neither team was able to find the inside of the net as Matt Felice recorded his 3rd shutout in 8 games.
Well, no matter the sport, a Robert Morris win over Duquesne always tastes good. The volleyball team in action against the Dukes on Tuesday, looking to fulfill that wish. Robert Morris has won 3 of the past 4 matchups. To the Sewell Center we go. Colonials and Dukes, Game 1, Amy Palkle, yes, sister of Pitt grad and current New Orleans QB Tyler, helps kick off a long volley and finally eventually culminating in the first of 1 and eventually number 2 different rejections. Must be a family thing. Dukes would take Game 1. Game 3 now match tied at 1. Dukes with another serve that Amanda Graham just swats right back at them. RMU controlled the tempo throughout the entire set, and including this incredible volley between the two teams. A nice fake by Jay Helmich and an initial block by Jessica Artman leads to a final shot, eventually by Nicole Wright, but Cassie Lee jams the stuffing back in the turkey. One more look, because yes, we have a faceplant. Courtesy of Cassie Lee, there you go, the first one of the year. RMU takes the match 3-1.
Coming up after the break, Bill Romango is back to break down the plays of the RMU at Moorhead football game, so stick around. Earlier this week, CSC's Scott Golmick caught up with assistant head coach of the football team, Dan Radakovich, to see what life is like as a coach and what caused him to get that nickname, Bad Rad.
Coach Radakovich, thank you for joining us on Colonial Sports Center.
You're very welcome, Scott.
They call you Bad Rad. What's the story? Why is Rad so bad?
Well, it's a nickname that I got in high school. The first game of my junior year, I started and I made a lot of tackles. And we were standing out in front of the Duke restaurant in Duquesne after the game, and one of our former players came walking by, and his name was Frank Vacation, and he said, "Rad is bad. Did you see Rad make all those tackles? Rad is bad." So, you know, they simply started calling me Bad Rad. And I was kind of thankful, because before that, my nickname was Cookie. And I asked my mom one day, I said, "Hey, Mom, how did I get the nickname Cookie?" And she said, "I'm not telling you." And I said, "Hey, Mom, it's my nickname. How did I get it?" She says, "You don't want to know." I said, "Hey, Mom, it's my nickname." She says, "Okay, I'll tell you." She says, "When you were a baby, I used to get together with my married lady friends and with our kids. And my Serbian married lady friends, my dad was Serbian, she said, used to rock me and say, 'Poor kupus, poor kupus.' And my American married lady friends would say, what's this kupus mean?" And my mother said, I wasn't about to tell them what it really meant. So I said, "Oh, that's Serbian for cookie." So they start calling me Cookie. But really what the Serbian ladies were saying was, kupus was cabbage. It was saying, "Poor cabbage head, poor cabbage head." So I was kind of happy to get the nickname Bad Rad and losing the nickname Cookie.
Graduated Penn State, 1957, 50 years ago. Yes. You were a player at Penn State, and then you went immediately to coaching. Were you expecting to make that transition so quickly?
No, I got into coaching by accident. I was out in the hallway, and the coaches were having an argument about how do you play linebacker, and they said, "Well, Danny, you know, Radakovich is out in the hallway. You know, let's call him in." So I went in and I disagreed with all of them. So Joe Paterno, Rip Ringo was the head coach. Joe Paterno was a young coach then. He said, "Well, if you're so smart, why don't you come out and coach him?" And I said, "Well, what do you give me?" And he looked at Rip. Rip said, "How about $100?" I said, "Okay." So for $100, I went out and coached the linebackers in the spring, and they did well. Then they offered me a graduate assistantship, which I took, and ended up being they hired me full-time in 1960 as a linebacker coach.
Now we move on to Robert Morris. We move on a couple more years towards '93. Coach Walton is looking around to start a football program, and he gives you the call. What's that story?
Well, I hung up the phone. My wife said, "Who was that?" And I said, "That was Joe Walton." She said, "What do you want?" I said, "Well, he wanted me to come down and coach with him. He took a job at a small college called Robert Morris in Pittsburgh." She said, "What'd you tell him?" I said, "Well, I told him no." She says, "Why'd you do that?" I said, "Well, you know, the money stinks, whatever." She said, "Hey, I said, I don't want to coach small college football. She says, hey, let me tell you something. She says, I married you for better or for worse, but not to hang around the house for 2 years like you've been doing. You called him back. So I called him back and said, hey, you know, Joe, I'm interested, and came down and visited him, and you know, and took the job.
With Coach Radakovich's thoughts echoing in our heads, we turn to CSC's football analyst, Bill Romango. And Bill, why don't you take us through some of the key events from Saturday's game?
I will do that for you, AJ. Robert Morris came into Saturday's game against Morehead State looking for a victory, and they got one. First, we're going to see here James Kazel comes up and makes a great play in the backfield. We're going to look at it one more time. You see him, he's about 10 yards off the ball, not blitzing or anything, but just making a great read, playing safety the way it's supposed to be played, goes in, makes a textbook tackle. They get a loss in the play. A couple series later, here's Kazel again, gets the interception, falls down to the ground. A little awkwardly, though, breaks his collarbone. We already discussed that. No need to talk about it some more, but we'll just look at the interception. Great play by Kazel to reach out. Unfortunately for him, he will not be playing the rest of the season. Another defensive play here. We're going to see Mike Nicholas. You know, AJ, some people have called him overrated, AJ. Why would people do that, AJ? I just don't understand it. I don't know. Nicholas certainly backing up the talk that he is not overrated. Makes the interception there. And then we see a great play by Rich Nagy to get in, cause a fumble on the quarterback. After a little scramble, I believe Shannon Smoot comes up with that fumble. We're going to look at it one more time. If you look at Nagy right in the middle of the field, he falls down, but hey, it's all about the second effort in football. He gets up, causes the fumble. Great play for Robert Morris. They would score a field goal as a result of that play. Huge defensive play. But when you talk about a big defensive play in the game, we got to talk about our friend Mike Nicholas. There he is again, blocking a kick that would eventually help Robert Morris keep it close enough to win. You see him come right off the edge, gets in there, puts his hand out. The kick is blocked, and then Robert Morris would go on to the victory thanks to the great play of the defense and Mike Nicholas, who, I don't know if you'd heard before, some people are calling him overrated, but I'm certainly not one of those people.
Who was that guy?
Well, I don't know.
Bill, despite the ugly nature of this win, this team seems pretty confident and definitely getting some lucky bounces. Which leads me to my first question. We've heard a lot about the climate in the locker room and how great it is, but the defense has been especially fired up of late. How much does their attitude as a unit translate into the resilience we've seen on the field from them?
Well, football is the ultimate team sport. Coach Walton says that just about every day. And to play as a team and play as a solid unit, you have to be able to gel with personalities and gel with different people. And the defense just seems to be able to do that every single year. No matter who's playing, who steps up, and who doesn't, it doesn't matter. They always come out fired up, ready to go, because they are one solid unit. And also the offense, too, is just gelling really well in the locker room. And hopefully we'll see that translate into a victory for us coming up Saturday.
Well, sticking with the defense, Morehead State runs an option offense. VMI runs the wing T option offense.
Yeah.
It's another option offense. What's the key for the RMU defense to hold down an option offense this year?
Well, the key for the option offense is speed. And Robert Morris has plenty of that. And especially against the wing T, you're going to have to look to get those linebackers blitzing in the gaps that the pulling guards will leave, because a lot of the wing T is all about pulling guards out, getting them in front of the running backs. If Robert Morris can fill those gaps quickly enough, Nate Argenta is going to have to play big, filling in for Kazel at safety. And if they can do that and successfully stop the run, then essentially they're going to win the game basically by a shutout.
Well, VMI's defense has given up a lot of points, Bill. How can the Colonials' offense exploit that this weekend?
The Colonials' offense is going to be looking to, number one, run the ball. We have to run the football successfully to be successful just in every aspect of the game. Everything hinges off the running game. And when you get the running game going, that's when you get the passing game going.
All right, thanks, Bill. And hopefully a good overall game can ease Coach Walton's mind a little bit. And we tried to do that a little bit ourselves with getting some help from the fans. And they had some questions for the coach. Take a look.
Joe Walton, my name is Nazari. If you weren't coaching football, what sport would you be coaching?
Oh, that's a good question, Nazari. When I was young, I loved baseball. I still am a big-time baseball fan. I'm a big fan of the Pirates and disappointed like everybody else, but I think I might have tried baseball.
Hey, Coach, it's Brian. What's your pregame meal before the big game on Saturday?
Brian, I eat right with the players. We usually have eggs and bacon and, you know, a normal breakfast, sometimes pancakes. Now, I kind of watch the pancakes, though.
Hey, Coach, it's Lauren. I saw you driving around on that golf cart before the game. How fast can you get it to go?
Well, I'm getting to the age where, Lauren, I can't drive it too fast. But sometimes I'm in a hurry to get down there, so I go a little fast going down that hill. So, I guess I can get it up there going pretty fast.
Hey, Coach, this is Joe. When you wanted to start a football program, why did you choose Robert?
Don't go anywhere, because when we return, he's going to give the award the Ass Hat of the Week.
And I'll try to stay calmer than Mike Gundy. CSC's back in 60 seconds. By now, most of you have seen the video, a tirade of epic proportions unleashed by Oklahoma State football coach Mike Gundy towards Jenny Carlson, a columnist for The Oklahoman. Many in the national media have come down on Gundy for the anger he displayed, and it is absolutely sickening. Gundy could have addressed the issue in a private manner, but his anger and disgust for Carlson's article is well understood, and the passion with which he defended his player is commendable. Carlson's article is a piece of pompous gossip, a hackneyed and distracted diatribe suited for the fish wrap it was printed on. In it, she calls out recently benched Oklahoma State quarterback Bobby Reed, not for lacking talent or leadership, but for being chicken. At least, that's what Carlson insinuates in her confusing metaphor. Carlson opens with a bizarre story involving Reed's mother feeding him chicken and veers off the not-so-beaten path from there. Carlson litters the article with cautionary phrases such as, "If you believe the rumors and rumblings," and "word is," but the only documented evidence within the gossip column is one quote from Reed saying that he gets nervous before games. Really? No comments on the coaching staff and their view of his leadership abilities. No comments from teammates, just hearsay and circumspect information spattered about like an expressionist painter utilizing a gigantic canvas. This is not the first time Carlson's use of rumors rose up and bit her in the ass hat, nor will it likely be the last. Miss Carlson, I sincerely hope that a forthcoming apology gets as much print space in the Oklahoman as your initial defense of that piece of trash column did. Otherwise, the ass hat you wear tonight may become permanent.
Calling all Colonial crazies, these are some matchups that you have to look forward to in the upcoming days around campus. Sunday, September 30th, field hockey versus Monmouth at Joe Walton Stadium. Tuesday, October 2nd, women's ice hockey begins their games against Mercyhurst at the Island Sports Center. And at 7 o'clock at the Soul Center on Wednesday, you can catch women's volleyball. And on that note, if you want more RMU-TV coverage of all things Bobby Moe, here's what you can watch. RMU Live News is on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5:30. Thursday nights has CSC at 9:30 and RMU Tonight at 10:05, so don't miss any of it.
Well, we thank you for joining us. For Bill Romango and Kelly Burke and Matt Davies, I'm Andrew Chiapese. Good night. We'll see you out in the gridiron.